Hello everybody, I thought I'd make this little Monkey Island video because yes, the time has finally come. I've now finished every game in the series, starting way back with The Secret of Monkey Island, onto Monkey Island 2 LeChuck's Revenge, then The Curse of Monkey Island, Escape from Monkey Island, and now recently just finished Tales of Monkey Island, which means yeah, I'm done. And I've thoroughly enjoyed playing every single one. I thought I'd make this video as a nice little roundup of all of the games and to put all of my playlists and Let's Plays in one place, hopefully to make it easier for people to find and watch. So yeah, let's get started at the beginning. The first one was The Secret of Monkey Island. To be specific, the special edition that was released in 2009, although of course the original was released way back in 1990. And in it, according to the game's back, it says, the game's twisty plot leads our naive hero on a hilarious swashbuckling search for the fabled secret of Monkey Island. Tales of pirate wealth lure him to the port of Melee with high hopes, no money, and insatiable curiosity. If clever enough, he will win the confidence of Melee's pirates and find himself blown by the winds of fate towards the terrifying and legendary Monkey Island. An adventure that would chill the bones of even the most bloodthirsty buccaneer. Indeed it did. So yeah, this was my first Let's Play. Obviously I started at the beginning and I thought I'd give it a go mainly because I'd heard good things about it, and also the special edition meant it looked all nice and pretty and could run on US systems really well. I Let's Played it back in 2013, all those years ago, and I've been going ever since. But yeah, it was a great game. Obviously it was a good game because that's why I continued doing all the other ones. And yeah, like I said, it did look really nice. The updated artwork was so gorgeous to look at, and especially the in-game help system, that was very nice to have, which I don't think the original had, apart from I think it might have come with a manual that had hints in it. But yeah, to be honest though, I didn't really switch back and forth between the old look of it and the newly remastered version, mainly because I never played it back in the 90s, so I didn't have that nostalgia for it, so I just played it how it looked pretty today. But that was a cool feature of it, that you could flip back and forth. And yeah, you know, funny, great puzzles, great story, and it kind of led very nicely onto the next one, Monkey Island 2 LeChuck's Revenge. Having seemingly defeated the evil ghost pirate LeChuck in his first adventure, Guybrush Threepwood sets his sights on the legendary treasure of Big Whoop. But wait, LeChuck is now back in zombie form and he's out for revenge. Guybrush will have to use his wits, his humour, and his insatiable desire for adventure to defeat his nemesis once and for all, and truly prove himself the greatest pirate in the Caribbean. Voodoo dolls, spitting contests, and amusement parks are just some of the challenges Guybrush must overcome, as he meets old friends, fights new enemies, and uses every ounce of his mojo to overcome the wrath of LeChuck's Revenge. Ah, yeah. I do think I preferred the second one over the first. It is really hard to remember these games because it was so long ago. I Let's Played this back in 2014, it came out in 2010, the original came out in 1991, but yeah, it gets so hard to remember like the details of each game because they all just sort of blur together. But I do remember the spitting contests, and I remember the amusement park at the end, and the very strange ending, which sort of almost ended on a cliffhanger, but not quite, because obviously they made more. It's still never really explained though, that ending to Monkey Island 2, is it? And interestingly, this is the last game that was made with the input of Ron Gilbert. And I think that probably shows because a lot of people say the games after this one weren't as good and were sort of just rehashing the first two games. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but it's valid to say because, yeah, I mean, Ron Gilbert did leave from this point onwards, so there must have been a slight change of the way it was made. But yeah, this was the second one. Good stuff. And then after that we moved on to the third game in the series, which was the first one I played that was not one of the remastered ones. That was The Curse of Monkey Island. Okay, so the official blurb for this game is actually an excerpt from The Memoirs of Guybrush Threepwood, The Monkey Island Years, and it goes like this. I've sailed the seas from Trinidad to Tortuga, and I've never seen anything like it. The engagement ring I gave Elaine has a terrible pirate curse on it. LeChuck is behind it, I'm sure. I should have known that nothing good could come out of that evil zombie's treasures. And if that's not bad enough, the clairvoyant I met in the mangrove swamp told me that if I am to break the curse and save Elaine, I will have to die. Whew, yeah, so this was the first game that was not remastered, and it still had a really nice style to it though. It was not as pixelated. This came out in 1997 originally, and it sort of has that nice cartoony aesthetic. And if I'm being honest, I think it's probably the version I like the look of most. It's very easy to kind of gush over the remastered visuals, but you know, at the same time they are remastered and they're gonna look good regardless. But this came out in 1997 and I do think it has that great cartoony quality to it, but still has like a nice... It still looks good. It has that hand-drawn nature and it has really emotive drawings, and especially when we get onto some of the 3D games later on, I think this looks just great. And yeah, as per usual, great puzzles. Lots of the Mega Monkey puzzles. I think I played the Mega Monkey version, which was slightly more puzzle ridden. But yeah, and obviously it was the first to have voice acting from back in the day that wasn't recorded now, so that was good too. And yeah, I think I Let's Played this one back in October 2015. But then after that, a couple of years later, I moved on to Monkey Island 4, or Escape from Monkey Island. Again, an excerpt from the memoirs of Guybrush Threepwood, The Monkey Island Years. It says, "Spitting the sand of Monkey Island from my mouth, I wondered if the life of a mighty pirate was all it was cracked up to be. I'd ignored recent events that should have been warning shots across the bow of my soul, from my wife's brush with death to the anti-pirate ramblings of an Australian gazillionaire. If only I'd chosen a different path, LeChuck might still be dead, and the ultimate insult might have remained a mystery. If I'd never picked up a sword, the grog-swilling pirates of the Tri-Island area might be unthreatened by the forces of gentrification and demonic heckfire. If only. Suddenly, the hairy finger of a familiar monkey tapped me on the shoulder. It was time. Time for the biggest battle of my swashbuckling life." Whew, how adventurous does that sound? Yeah, Monkey Island 4. Bit of a different one. This was its first foray into 3D. It was originally released back in 2000, and yeah, I Let's Played it in 2017. It was a right bugger to try and emulate, let me tell you. I had to end up getting a PS2 version, then ripping that to my computer, then emulating that through a PS2. Oh man, it was hard and it was a bit unstable, but we got there in the end, and it was still good. It was definitely very different, especially graphics wise. It didn't have that same kind of depth and detail. Obviously, it was very very much like full of polygons, big polygons. But it still had the same sort of humour and it had the same sort of puzzles. That was nice. And yeah, pretty good. I don't think it was as bad as a lot of people say. A lot of people really like to rip on this one, but I think once you get into it and you get used to it, pretty good. Yeah. On to Tales of Monkey Island, the most recent game in the series, and as of recording, what seems to be like the last game in the series, quite sadly. And in it, this is a long description. Whilst explosively stripping the evil pirate LeChuck of his demonic mojo, Guybrush Threepwood inadvertently infects the entire Caribbean with the arch-fiend's expelled voodoo, which threatens to transform buccaneers into unruly pirate monsters. Pursued by a notorious cutthroat pirate hunter and a creepy French physician who believes that Guybrush's eerily infected hand holds the secret of eternal life, Threepwood sails the seven seas in search of L'Esponja Grande, a legendary sea sponge with unparalleled voodoo exfoliating abilities. But little does Guybrush know, his quest is part of a larger, more sinister plot, and good and evil are not always as they seem. Who can Guybrush trust? Where can he turn? Everything you think you know will be challenged as Tales of Monkey Island builds to its unexpected finale. Whew, how dramatic. I'm not sure about all of that, but yeah, this game is very different in another way as well. It's not just a 3D one, but it's also one made by a completely different developer. By this point in time, LucasArts had shut down its video game section, so instead it was made by Telltale Games, who also have now shut down, which is a bit weird, and also means I don't really know where it lies, the future of Monkey Island, but hey ho. Yeah, this game was good. It was episodic, which meant there were 5 chapters instead of one complete game. But I don't know, I think it was very, very long. Very long. And the puzzles were okay, but I do think being the last in the series, it is a bit of a downer to end on. I think there were a lot of things left unanswered, and a lot of it was just a bit repetitive and a bit going back and forth in the same locations. I did still enjoy it, obviously, and it was nice just to play again as Guybrush and meet all the familiar characters, Elaine and LeChuck and Voodoo Lady and Murray, all those sorts of people, Stan of course. But yeah, it does make me a bit sad that this is the last of them and that there is no future in sight at the moment for the Monkey Island series. I've seen interviews with Ron Gilbert who has said that he would love to make a Monkey Island 3 that continues from Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge, because that's the one that he last dealt with, so he would like to continue it from that point. And believe me, that would be so good to see. He recently made Thimbleweed Park, which is sort of like... It's very Monkey Island-esque in that it was made by him, but obviously it's not the same, and I would love to see Guybrush return. Funnily enough, the voice actor for Guybrush, Dominic Armato, I think his name is, he's actually a food critic now. He doesn't do any more voiceovers, so... But even he, I think, is still interested in returning as Guybrush, so I hope there's something that will come in the future. Just gotta hope. We just gotta hope, guys. But yeah, that's all this video is. I just wanted to sort of round up all of the games I've done and, you know, check the corners, check the description. It should have popped up with links to playlists or, you know, the first episode of the playlist, and then you can go on and watch the whole thing. It's been a blast playing all of these games, and I've loved going through all the adventures with Guybrush and also seeing your guys' reactions to them and helping me out when I've needed help. And yeah, it's been great, and I really loved going through the whole series. And that's about it, really. So yeah, enjoy the videos if you want to watch them, and if not, play the games yourself because they are good fun to do so. And until next time, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.